This might be my favorite talk because I've been researching on this one for a minute. The talk title is free will enough? No, no, it's not. And let me explain. Now, before you get depressed, don't worry, it ends good. I was trying to do that to get your attention, but anywho, let's get with it. Have you ever felt like circumstances, conditions, genetical dispositions? Don't get me started with the mental issues. I have ADHD, which translates to I interrupt you while you talk because I'm rude. I'll just say what needs to be said here, folks. I'll keep it at 100. How about this one? Have you ever met someone that says I have depression, which translates to I can't be grateful for what I have? Andre, that's a little insensitive. Yes, it is insensitive. I'm insensitive to the people that apparently everyone has it. Do you know in some doctor offices, they literally have a term for people that have ADHD, depression, anxiety, stress, all these other things simultaneously? They call it garbage life syndrome. It's actually the S word they use, but I don't like to use expletives all the time. But yeah, garbage life syndrome. What's the probability that you have all those mental issues? Very unlikely because they're usually self diagnosed or a self fulfilling prophecy. Now, what do I say all this? Is free will enough? I want you to get out a $20 bill. Imagine it in your hands, right? Or should I say in my hands? If I were to crush that $20 bill and I showed it in front of you, would you still take it? Yeah, you would. What if I threw it on the ground and I curb stomped it? I stepped on it, picked it back up. Would you still take it? Yeah, you would. That right there is a demonstration of value. In spite of everything that the bill has gone through, you understand its value is still the same. In spite of everything that you have gone through, your value is still the same. Even though life is trying to convince you otherwise. And there's a lot of evidence, a lot of facts. But the Bible says the truth shall set you free, not the facts, or whatever the conditions suggest. The truth is something more, something greater. It is something that goes beyond the parameters of what people can see. Or, as it says, without vision, the people perish. The very fabrics of our world is shaped by people that can see beyond the parameters of what their eyes could see. A better way. In Chinese culture, there's actually not a word for crisis. In fact, the word is actually referred to as opportunity, which means children grow up never understanding what failure means, or a crisis, or a problem. Is it any wonder that they still got issues, but is it any wonder that they have less issues in academics? They have less issues when it comes with dealing with adversity because their culture is centered around adversity is an opportunity and failure is an opportunity for growth. When a kid gets an F on his paper for math class, he doesn't get an F. He gets an opportunity to be better. Wow. What a different way to see something. Seeing your failures as a step, not a stage. A path, not a blockade. Walt Disney, I don't care what you think about Disney, but here's the origin story. Disneyland. This guy went to over 300 banks. And they all say, "You're crazy. There ain't no one gonna go here." And now people are waiting in lines for days to ride a ride he envisioned. 300 banks said no. Can you imagine? I know you've been rejected. I know you've been through some stuff, but can you imagine 300 no's to your dream? This isn't like his job. This isn't door knocking. He brought an idea. He needs some money. He went to the bank, and the bank says, "You're out of your mind. We're not endorsing this." What about the light bulb? Google it. 10,000 failures. Still made it. We got lights all over the place. Look, the list of testimonies of people who persevere when defying all logic is insurmountable. We walking around with cell phones. You can hear this message on YouTube. For God's sake. You don't even need me to be physically present. You just happen to watch this video. And you can pause it. Like, what? Remember when you had to be on stages live? Like, you had to be there. If you had to go to the bathroom, that was your loss. Sorry. Now we can just have everything in the palm of our hands. Bridges. Airplanes. All this awesomeness. We got all this evidence of what free will can do, and yet, well, I guess it can be used against you, huh? Let me leave you with this. You may have depression. You may have ADHD. You may have blank. Or memories, or a childhood, or a family dysfunction that still brings sadness. I'm too dumb. I'm too weak. I'm always too something. Too scared. Too blank. You may have all that. I'm not saying that's not real. But you also have a chance. You also have a dream and ambition, goals, aspirations. But above all else, you have a choice. These are the things that life can't give you, and these are the things life can't take away. That is within reach of us all. So choose. It's not an easy choice, but it's one we all have to make. You can allow the pains and issues of life to convince you that this sucks. And you're right, it does suck. You can either be used by your pain or use your pain. I don't think I've ever met a person that I respected that didn't have some catastrophe. I think people are like bow and arrows. The more life pulls them back, the more they can be pushed forward. The question is, can you let go? Or maybe the bow breaks. I don't know how that analogy goes, but you get the idea. Or will you numb your pain with a false sense of progress, with endorphins via entertainment versus education, things that can actually empower you? Do you know the most confident people are children? Little kids. Because the little kids can't even do anything, and yet they have the most confidence because they aren't aware of all their dysfunctions. At least not yet. But which indicates to me you can choose to stand in your strengths, not count all your weaknesses and what you don't have. Notice the lion and the eagle are the kings of their area. The king of the jungle and the king of the air. The lion has something called attitude. The lion he is literally inferior to every animal in the jungle. Here's why. He's not as fast, he's not as smart, he's not even as strong. And yet a lion can look at an elephant and say, lunch. Look up Dr. Miles Monroe. Good guy, good stuff. Attitude. And yet the elephant, with all its strength and power, by all rights, the elephant should be able to crush a lion, and yet the lion doesn't do it. And yet the elephant does not attack the lion. You know why? Attitude. In spite of all its talents, its attitude renders it pointless. The eagle. They fly in heights that no other bird can reach. You don't see eagles congregating with chickens, though they have wings and feathers, and they're technically in the same class of bird and species. However, eagles only make love in the air. They can only procreate with another eagle who can reach those heights. Stop messing with chickens. If you saw an eagle messing around with chickens, you'd be like, what kind of eagle is that? Isn't it supposed to be like by itself, soaring? I can tell you more fascinating facts about those creatures. But hey, I digress. Things to chew on, things to think about. But just remember, you have a chance and you have a choice. And as long as you're alive, you have a chance, which also means you have a choice. Is free will enough? No. No, it's not. Free will is more than enough. And it's time you start believing in that. All right. You have a blessed day. Talk to you later.